What's up, Space Pirates? This is your Admiral, the certifiably suave Dr. Disaster, and typically, when a AAA game is prepared to release in the next couple weeks, the marketing and buzz ramp up and you see a massive spike in interest as the game rockets up to damn near the top of the Steam charts. And then there's Avowed, who made a series of bad decisions in customer relations, and now they're paying the price.
Well, we gotta stick with our decisions, right? Yeah, I can't go back on it now. No.
It has been incredible to watch the once mighty studio Obsidian implode a few months back when gamers first discovered that there was a pronoun system in the game whereby your pronouns were displayed on your character sheet like the Twitter profile of a progressive shithead. But rather than try to play it down and make peace with gamers who were concerned about this, the idiots at Obsidian decided to celebrate the fact that a bunch of us were no longer interested in playing their game, highlighting the arrogance of these Californian lunatics who are getting destroyed by Eastern devs who are willing to give gamers what they want.
American fools, you disrespect yourself and your nation. You are made of stupid.
So, circling back to what I said earlier, usually when a game from a studio like Obsidian is a few weeks away from release, you can reasonably expect to see them at or near the top of the Steam charts. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, as an example, is the #1 best-selling game right now on its release day, and it has been hovering around the top 10 for the past 2 weeks, but Avowed still can't even crack the top 100 best-selling games because nobody is buying from these doofuses who couldn't figure out that you shouldn't insult your customers.
My goodness, what an idea. Why didn't I think of that?
That's because you're stupid.
To be fair, Avowed has moved up. About a week and a half ago, we discussed on this channel how they were still languishing at about the 400 or so range on the Steam charts, so there has been some movement, but still, they are at number 126 at the time of this recording, and the number of followers correlates with the lack of enthusiasm that we see in the game sales. As many of you know, I have several contacts in retail spaces where they sell video games, and the numbers that I'm hearing back from them are pretty doom and gloom, which I'm going to show you in a minute here. The marketing for this thing is virtually non-existent right now. Obsidian seems to be fairly radio silent, at least partially because they are complacent, and likely also because it appears they have acknowledged a basic truth about their relationship with gamers.
I have proven I can kick your ass.
Well, the evidence does support that.
Alright, me hearties, make sure you smash the like button on this video to drive away the algorithm monster, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And also, don't forget to follow me on X, where my handle is Dr. Disaster1. But alrighty then, the marketing blitzkrieg for Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is in full swing. The marketing for Assassin's Creed Shadows is going bananas as well, but anecdotally, in my local game stores, I haven't seen a single poster put up for this game, for Avowed. I haven't even seen online ads at all, and you'd think that I would be a prime target for ads from this company, since my search history is stuff discussing video games. So, I was curious about this, and I asked the contacts that I have in these retail spaces about whether or not they even had marketing materials for the game, and it sounds as though they do, but it's fairly minimal. There have been some small posters that they've hung up, but that's about it. There just isn't a big push, and I'm fairly sure that one of the major reasons for this is that the studio is just content with their Game Pass release status. They know they don't have any pressure to appeal to a larger audience because they can always hide behind the Game Pass excuse and say, oh well, everyone played it on Game Pass. It's the sort of thing that makes certain people complacent and ineffective, particularly when it comes to people in a position where they're supposed to be creative. You see, people are always the most effective when they're hungry. When failure to produce means going without, folks tend to find a way to rise to the occasion. But the defenders of this game, who constantly cite Game Pass as if it's an excuse for a complete lack of interest in the game, these people are like microcosms of the mentality that I see from Obsidian in general. They made what they made and don't care what you think because they feel snug and secure hiding beneath the Microsoft umbrella. Meanwhile, other Game Pass games like Stalker 2 have been successful. Stalker 2, as an example, was able to sell literal millions of copies despite also being a day one Game Pass release. But anyhow, like I was telling you, I reached out to the folks that I'm in contact with in retail spaces, and between all of them, they run damn near 50 stores that sell video games. And in those stores, they have sold a grand total of 24 copies of Avowed on pre-order thus far. They're averaging about a half a copy per store, which is absolutely laughable, as I'll show you in a second here. But I was curious about which version of the game people were ordering, and it sounds like damn near all of them were the Steelbook copies. So basically, it's the collectors who just wanted that memorabilia, the Steelbook, in their household. Anyhow, now let's compare these numbers for Avowed to a couple of its contemporaries. I'm going to start with Star Wars Outlaws, which is a game that released so poorly that it caused Ubisoft stock value to absolutely tank, and now that company is on the verge of bankruptcy. But in these same nearly 50 stores, when Star Wars Outlaws was 2 weeks away from its release, that game had 103 pre-orders. So Avowed, as you can see, is being absolutely dwarfed by a game which by all accounts was a major flop. But then, let's also compare the game to a contemporary that was also a day one Game Pass release. Stalker 2, Heart of Chernobyl came out in November, announcing that they had sold 1 million copies within a day or two of release. So, it was a pretty gigantic game. And now, in these same stores, where Avowed has sold only 24 copies 2 weeks away from its release, Stalker 2, when it was 2 weeks away from its release, had sold 154 pre-orders. As you can see, the difference is stark. People actually gave a shit about Stalker 2, whereas Avowed, which is an Obsidian game and has no excuses left for it, that game is simply not gaining any traction whatsoever. And Obsidian, at least up until this point so far, doesn't even seem to be trying. There's virtually zero advertising, virtually zero engagement with gamers. This is what complacency looks like, and it sends the message to me that Avowed is likely not a particularly well-made game. The signals that we're getting from these people tell me that there's very little passion for their craft. They only want to own the chuds with what they've made. That's why they still haven't answered for the allegedly illegal hiring practices that the Avowed art director talked about on social media that made the rounds a few months ago. These are people who don't believe that gamers deserve answers to our questions. They feel safe and comfortable, and I don't buy games or really any products from people like that if I can help it. But I'm going to leave it there. Drop your mockery of these numbskulls at Obsidian into the comment section below. And also, what are your thoughts on why they aren't really advertising this game? Do you think the marketing blitz is still on the way? Have they given up because they know gamers are completely against them, or are they just complacent? Drop your thoughts into that comment section and we will talk there. Thanks for watching, me hearties. If you haven't already, your Admiral is inviting you to subscribe to the channel and become a part of the crew. Life as a space pirate may not be glamorous, but there's always plenty of booty.